Hi guys, and welcome to monthly Lenormand reading. I'm just going to tell you quickly a little bit about Lenormand, just a minute. So Lenormand refers to two types of oracle decks, the Grand Jeu and Petit Jeu. The Grand Jeu, which is French for the big game, is based on a full deck of playing cards. So each card has a large variety of symbols, such as sometimes constellation, flowers, and Trojan War. But sometimes, like maybe you're familiar with my cards, where you have the lady holding a letter, where you have the rider, snake, and so on and so forth. The Petit Jeu Lenormand, French for the little game, is a deck of 36 cards. So cards images here are simple. As I said, a clover, a bear, a key, etc., right? This is a simplicity in this deck that really leads to cards not being read based on the picture nor the symbol, where in tarot every line actually has a meaning, and depending on combination, kind of like they end up having different meanings. Instead here, the meanings tied to the cards are fairly literal, such as luck for the clover and success for the key. Unlike the philosophical meanings where you have the keys, sort of like entry to the gateway to the spirituality, right? In this respect, Petit Jeu cards remind me of pictorial language, almost like Egyptian hieroglyphs, right? But keep in mind that both the Grand Jeu and Petit Jeu are like in that they use card combinations to expand on the meanings on the individual cards. So you see, each card has a meaning, but 1 + 1 doesn't make 2. 1 + 1 makes it like 5, and 1 + 1 + 1 makes it 15, and so on and so forth. When you put all 36 cards on the table, it is sort of like giving almost like overview on how the situation can be seen, and it can actually really give you different aspects and what is like behind you, what is aside from you, etc., etc. 36 cards, as I told you, has like so many different possibilities and meanings, and it really requires a skilled reader to do that. So anyway, I think we are going to attempt to do exactly that. So why don't you get ready, sit down, take your popcorn, and let's get into your reading. Love you. Hi Aries, so let's check your reading for this month. So in Lenormand, we have two significators, two main ones. Like there are other cards that can indicate other people and actually even describe how they look. But given that has been done in France, it's kind of like really limited. So I'm not going with that, but I'm going with significators. Here's the lady and here's the gentleman. So because this is a general reading, either of the significators can be you, and it can describe the situation. And as I said, this can resonate with you or might not, because this is a general reading. And for your reading, basically just contact me via my website, cattarot.ca. Also, if you want Lenormand in your reading, just let me know in the forum that you're submitting. So let's start over here. Kind of like this is kind of like complexity that I'm going to give you a few storylines that I see, and then we will go from there, right? I'm seeing that there is somebody, for some of you, whom you're really, really interested in, with whom, you know, you kind of like want to build something, and it could be kind of like really a weird situation. It could be for some of you that the person is at a distance. It could be kind of like secret as well. It could be that you are the third party, actually, in this case, for the some of you. They're like, for some of you, like you're going through issues yourself. Looks like you have a partner or a secret kind of like partner, or even like secret kind of like what do you call it, crush on someone. And you kind of like really want to get rid of that on one hand, but on the other hand, like the attraction for that person is like really, really huge, and you're really torn between sort of like, or maybe you're not torn, but like maybe some of you are interpreting that attraction as love, where and trying to see if that is going to be glue enough to kind of like push you forward. On the other hand, like, I mean, it could be a distraction as well, where and this also, guys, could be just a simple Valentine thing, sort of like everybody is like very fluffy, everybody wants to kind of like have forever after happy ending, but we know the reality is that you really have to have proper grounds to kind of like build this, right? Now, for some of you, this could be a person from work that maybe you kind of have a crush on someone, or there is some kind of like flirting going on. Be very careful, because be very careful with what you say at work if that's the case, or also if this person is close to some people that you know, because somebody else may somehow get privy to that information and it could come back to haunt you or even affect your income. So be very, very, very careful, because you have the snake in the midst, literally, right? And it can affect you in many ways, because the snake is kind of pushing this crossroad, and the tower in Lenormand is not the same as in tarot, which is a sudden karmic involvement. The tower in Lenormand is talking about the government, institutions, but it also can talk about separations. And that kind of like is where this worries me, because there is the mountain and there is the tower, and mountain being the obstacles with a heart and karmic kind of like involvement over here. And plus you have the book in the karma house, which means something unknown is still going to revolve. So I think this attraction goes for both male and females. It's kind of like really interesting, but like, I mean, for the few of you, it is also kind of that you have other pressing issues, such as you're trying to put your head to work, you're trying to figure out which path you take and whom you want to be around with. Some of you are really kind of like maybe questioning if you should be kind of like switching, because you feel that maybe your commitment was to the wrong people. And this doesn't have to be necessarily work. This could be the person that you have in your life, could be boyfriend or girlfriend, that has to have, like, that maybe has kind of like sarcastic remarks, that person is just being always uppy one, where basically you may be feeling a little bit stupid, or kind of the vibe being sent off is like very either both indiscreet, it's indiscreet and also arrogant. And it looks to me that some of you are simply tolerating, but this is not that you didn't notice that, right? Because I'm noticing here that there is like kind of like willingness to kind of like go forward and heal and go for something much bigger, because you see the fox could be a small work, right, kind of 9 to 5 issues, where the bear is like almost like mama bear. I am so protective of this, but in your case, guys, that's something going to be really, really karmic down the line over here. Now you also have the ring, and that's why I'm stressing the work environment, because it's falling in the house of the moon, which in Lenormand definitely talks about honor and fame and work. And especially for those of you who are having kind of extroverted positions like marketing, where you need to kind of like communicate and collaborate with many, you will kind of like really experience duality. Some people will really drive you nuts. So the communication is going to be both productive and also create you kind of like nervous situations, because you have the mice over here, and the mice is in the house of the heart. So which means that could be issues on all ends. So make sure that you're really protecting yourself if you're submitting any kind of, you know, proposals or anything, because anything that can be found that's kind of like wrong will be found to be wrong. Now, certain things for some of you also I do have to mention, because you're knighting the coffin, and coffin is being in the Clover's house. So, and it's also the sky here. So it can be plus and minus. It can be seen both as good and as bad, because sky cut something. So that's something, realization that something was creating or getting in a way. And also you have the moon, which is over here, being kind of like in the house of the sky. Some of you, I'm sorry to say, might have issues with work and might have, may even lose their employment, right? And in fact, if that happens, funny enough, yeah, it's going to be an initial setback. I can see that it's going to feel really, really bad, kind of like the end, but it's going to be literally the end of one phase where you'll go through that sort of like foggy stage. But I guess, guys, you're going to be starting to look in different alternative ways of kind of like creating your income. And it might be self-employment, it might be some kind of contract work, it might be also, for the others of you, a part-time opportunity you're going to grab, and definitely is in some kind of communication sector or something that requires loyalty. Maybe it could be credit card loyalties or something like that. Looks like it's going to pick up, and all of a sudden you're going to find yourself back on the market where the sun is shining on you. Like, it's like a very healthy decision, and it's almost like going to look like promotion, and it's a better direction for you. As I said, be very careful no matter where you are over this person here. And that's somebody, because like the snake is falling in the garden's house. This might not be somebody who you kind of like would be unusual suspect, right? It's just like the fog that is coming next to here, right? It's usually sneaky, something that just jumps at you, where you know you are just blindsided, right? And look, the snake in the house. This also could simply be also a family member, and it could be literally, because the birds sometimes talk about, and on top of the birds is in the tower over here, and the birds talk about gossip. So I would just say, stay away from any gossip, even to the closest ones to you, because it will explode in your face. You will rebound down the line, and certain things will come back, but it will take quite a while to do that. So simply just look after yourself, and look after simply kind of like finding, because you have the key in the flowers house, which is kind of very powerful. The key is one of the strongest cards in this particular deck, and it's definitely talking, it's like above basically one significator, and it's knighting another significator. It's right next to the moon. So it is sort of, you guys are kind of looking at opportunities, and key is not necessarily just a job opportunity, right? Because this is the house of the key, and so you're in a sense almost cleaning the house. I would say you're kind of like figuring out which people, because the mice is in your heart house, right? Maybe this mice simply means that you're going to remove these people from the list. It's kind of like what Aries people can do really well. You kind of look very forward, very straightforward. You just kind of have a huge exuberant energy. So is this working for me, or is this not working for me? And it is working for me. If it is working for me, is it working for me for the right reasons? Or am I staying with somebody just because I'm afraid I'll be lonely, or I'm afraid I'll be in pain of the breakup? Or am I staying with this person because this is actually really productive? So you're actually going to be very kind of like honest with yourself. And so when you kind of run into people like this, where you say, with this person, maybe I don't have anything on the paper that I can put down, but each and every time I have that feeling. Each and every time I'm just like weirded out. And it is the look, or is this just like, you know, like we have that animalistic ability to do that, but we are told and trained that we just listen to the words. And some people really take that gift of words to kind of like manipulate others. But I'm asking you this month, Aries, that you listen to your instincts, because your instincts and get off my list, you're not on the list, delete, is actually going to help you very, very much, because the sun should shine for you, right? Look at this. You're going from moon darkness to clouds to kind of fog, but it's kind of like still going in a daylight to the sun. So there is that motion there, and that's going to be the right motion. It's not to say all of a sudden your whole path is going to be covered with the rose petals. No, it's also going to have ups and downs, but that's the right path for you. So guys, listen to your instinct, and if you want to get your own reading, contact me, cattarot.ca. Love ya. Bye.